Ecom was my life every single day for 10 months straight. I spent thousands, I made thousands, I tested over 30 products, I tested over 400 ads. I explored basically every avenue within e-commerce, just trying to hit that patch of diamonds. And then everything just came to a halt. I'll explain why everything came to a halt at the end. But for now, we're going to go through each section of my e-commerce journey, how I did things, and how I probably should have done things. This is going to be raw insight straight from my head. So whether you're a beginner or an expert, this is going to be absolutely gold if you're in the space. If you watch and don't listen, you have yourself to blame for failing in e-commerce and nobody else. Okay, first comes first, product. You don't find a product, you find a viral video. And then you take the product within that video and you build a brand around it. Find products that have videos in abundance. Look at the comments, see what people are saying, and pick the product that you think has the best message, meaning like it'll resonate with the audience the best, like the benefit is just the greatest, and also has the best videos. Like the videos are absolutely viral, millions of views, a shit ton of likes, a shit ton of comments, and the comments are great. Not only do you want to pick your product based on what's viral right now, you can literally take a video from TikTok of a girl using, let's say your product is some lip liner, and the video has 20 million views and it has 100,000 likes, whatever, video's great. You can take that video, download it, SnapTik, TickSave, whatever, and then just trim off a second and re-upload that to Meta as your product's advertisement. When I first started, I thought that that was like illegal. Like you can't do it. There's literally a term for it, and even the big brands do it. It's called repurposing ads. You're just taking ads that already exist on the internet and you're repurposing them for your brand, your product. And it works great, and it's how you validate a product without actually making creatives, making advertisements out of scratch. It's also almost impossible to make an advertisement from scratch that'll beat one of these viral videos because the video already went viral. It already has proof of concept. The video itself already has proof of concept. So to wrap up product research, figure out what's going viral, download a bunch of videos, hone in on one that you think has a great message and the content is great, and repurpose those ads for your product. Now, another thing you should keep in mind is what is a real product versus what is a fake product. When I started in e-commerce, I started with fake products, and fake products are like, I was selling a mushroom lamp on TikTok. I was trying to sell like little astral orbs, lighters, this and that. These are all junk products that people, yeah, they might impulse buy at first, but they're never going to buy again, which means you'll never be sustainable. If someone's not going to come back and purchase a second time, your brand, your product, the whole thing is going to burn out without a doubt. So pick something that people will buy over and over again. It's really much easier than it sounds. If you pick a product that lies in these three niches, you have a great chance of having an amazing LTV. Clothing, supplements, and beauty. It took me like 6 months to actually start trying to sell a product within one of those niches. And the second I did, my results were twice as good as they were before. Okay, so you have your product. Now it's time for your website. This is where I have my biggest regrets. When it comes to building a website, there should be two things at the top of your mind. Everything else is noise. Your message and your offer. Your message is just the number one benefit. And that benefit should attack a very popular insecurity within the audience that you're targeting. And your offer is pretty much just your pricing. When you first build your site, you should always be running a sale. Just make an excuse to run a sale, summer, Valentine's, Christmas, whatever it is, and then create a sale around it. When it comes to the offer, just pretty much think to yourself, okay, what can I offer that people will see and they'll be like, okay, like I have to purchase, like this deal is too good to be true. Now, when it comes to everything else besides those two important things, I don't even want to talk about them because they're not important, but I will because you need to know. Don't spend time on anything that's not those top two. Don't spend time on anything that's not the message and the offer. That is probably the number one thing that I regret when it comes to my journey in e-commerce is I spent so much time on my brand's colors, on my brand's logo, the name of the brand, what I wanted the domain to look like, what I wanted the site to look like, the product images. It's all irrelevant. Trust me, like you may want to build your site perfect. I'm a perfectionist and I loved building a really nice looking site, but I got obsessed with it and I would spend days building a site. If you're spending more than 2-3 hours building your site, you are wasting time. Just put thought into the number one benefit, put thought into your offer, and that is it. You can even have AI do the rest. Atlas AI, I'll throw up right here. Great app for letting AI build out your website. Okay, now let's get into the juice, marketing. The first question you may ask yourself, which is the first question I ask myself, is am I going to do organic versus paid? It's pretty much hoping for views versus buying views. Paid advertising creates real businesses. Organic can as well, but you have a literal 99.9% less chance of creating a real brand with organic. You have to be extremely creative, and you also have to have a really creative product. If you don't, just don't even think about organic. If you're not some special, super creative person, just put organic to the side because it won't work for you. Learn paid advertising. I also say this because not only does paid advertising build real brands, but if e-commerce fails, paid advertising is such a high value skill that you can do so much with it. It's what pivoted me into what I'm doing today, which, like I said, we'll talk about at the end. But everybody needs paid advertising. It literally doesn't matter what you're doing. Paid advertising is buying eyeballs, and it's such a good skill to have. So learn it. We'll talk about marketing a little bit more because I can literally talk about how important it is all day. And I wish it's what I had spent all of my time on. I would have saved a lot more money, and I would have saved a lot more time. And I would have had better results. And who knows, maybe I'd have a 6-figure ecom business running in the background while I'm doing what I'm doing today, but I don't. Now, what platforms are you actually going to advertise on? You can kind of just pick and choose. I'll be very simple here. Meta is the most important. They have billions of users every single day. Facebook sees 2 billion people every single day. So learn meta advertising. TikTok, it's not bad, but it's very volatile. It's better for gimmicky products. And your product will be doing amazing one day and bad the next. It's also much more simpler. So just learn it so you have the skill. And then Snapchat's for like clothes and like face-to-face style videos. If you can be successful on Meta, nothing else matters. Meta is so good that even one ad can make you hundreds of thousands of dollars if the ad is amazing and you set up your campaign correctly. Meta paid ads may seem complicated at first, but the good news is that there's literally a million videos on YouTube about how to actually do meta ads properly. So take the time and learn it. Like I said, it's an extremely high value skill. All right, let's talk about courses for a minute because I actually bought a course. It's important to my journey, and it's kind of an interesting topic because when you're first starting out, I'll just say you don't know any better. You see all these young kids with Rolexes on, flexing this and that, and they're being low key like, yeah, I made 100K last month drop shipping, but yo, I run a little side gig. It's called like e-commerce mastermind. You know, join it if you want. We might let you in, we might not. Bunch of bullshit. 95% of course sellers, their main job is making money from the course. They don't actually make money from drop shipping. They don't make money from the business model that they're teaching. I'm not going to say don't buy a course, but just keep that in mind when you are considering buying a course. Your course seller, the one you're giving your money to, their livelihood is selling the course. It is not the business model. Like I said, 95, probably more % of the time, that is the case. I purchased a course for $2K over the span of 3 months. And when it comes to like the actual value, it was cool to be in a community of people that were, taking the same path as me. And it was also nice to have my questions kind of like answered on demand. But I also bought it for what I thought was going to be like really unique insight. And there really was no unique insight. You can find every piece of valuable content on YouTube. If you want anything you want to learn is on YouTube, and it's all free. So remember those things when you're considering buying a course. All right, final takeaways from my entire journey. If you're going to remember 4 things, remember these 4 bullets. Don't waste time on logos, aesthetics, or pretty websites. Focus 90% of your energy on marketing. Study ads like your life depends on it. Create an irresistible message and offer. If you do all of that and you still fail, you'll still be happy you went down the path, because now you will have learned what sells, why it sells, and how to market. A great saying I heard during my e-commerce journey, which really gave me like a lot of hope and helped me shift gears to where I should be looking, is that you can convince people to buy anything. It just depends how convincing you are. that's going to be it for e-commerce. I did say I would talk a little bit about where I am now. So for 30 seconds, I will. I stepped away from e-commerce when it was at its highest for me because I ran into a great opportunity in AI. So I'm working on AI automation. That's what my content is going to be about. I kind of had like an epiphany moment where I was like, AI is where I need to be. And honestly, if you're thinking about getting into e-commerce, just get into AI. AI made me drop everything. So that's what my channel is going to be about. If you do go down the e-commerce journey, I know this video will be useful to you as long as you listen. Either way, I hope to see you in my next videos where we will be talking about AI, because I know AI will be making the next wave of millionaires. That's where all my attention will be. Thanks for watching.